G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. All right, let's check out these headlines. 1 second. Get something squared away over here. All right. As always, we're starting off with Gateway Pundit. Let's see. Latest from Arizona, Steve Bannon. He said Delta between hard ballots and recorded votes is holding. Counts should be out next week. Not really gonna get into that because we know how YouTube does with when you get into the voting stuff. Breaking: federal judge rules Obama DACA program illegal, blocks new enrollments. Wow. I'm surprised this actually happened. Where's my water? All right. Let's see. A federal judge on Friday ruled the deferred actions for child arrivals DACA program is illegal and blocked new enrollments. Of course it's illegal. Recall Barack Obama granted illegal aliens protection in 2012 when he established the DACA program. According to reports, more than 800,000 illegal aliens are currently protected under Obama's illegal DACA program. U.S. District Judge Andrew Haneen of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, a George W. Bush appointee, found that the Department of Homeland Security violated Administration Procedure Act, APA, and illegally implemented the policy. Yeah. The judge ordered the DHS to stop approving new DACA applications. A coalition of states, with Texas leading the way, filed a lawsuit arguing DACA is unconstitutional. Yeah, because it really wasn't voted on or anything like that. Just rubber stamping stuff. Government not supposed to work like that. Let's see. Chicago to dispatch mental health experts on some 911 calls instead of cops. Wow. In Chicago, you couldn't pay me enough to do that. Could not pay me enough to do that. That's just putting people in harm's way. In Chicago of all places. I'm sorry, Chicago. Y'all know how it is out there though. Chicago would be dispatching mental health professionals along with paramedics instead of police forces on some 911 calls in Chicago, according to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. In one future pilot program, for example, a paramedic will be sent with a mental health clinician for behavioral health calls, according to a report by the Chicago Times. I hope they get hazard pay. In another instance, a paramedic will be working along with a recovery specialist on calls related to substance abuse. Wow. You could not pay me enough to do that job. I'm sorry. The reorganization comes as data from the Chicago Police Pension Board showed that so far more policemen have departed the force in 2021 so far than in all of 2018. So that's probably what it is. They ain't got enough cops, so they want to throw mental health people out there. That's what it is. They ain't got no cops out there working. Oh man, you could not. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it. You can't pay me enough to do that. Reports noted that 363 police officers have so far retired in Chicago just between January to June, compared to 339 officers who left the force in the whole 2018, as crime and lawlessness continue to creep across the city. And that's what happened when you defund the police and you treat police like crap. Who wants to do that job for real? People disrespecting them, it's crazy. Meanwhile, over the past year, the number of homicide cases and shootings in Chicago increased substantially, recording more violence in 1 year than in more than 2 decades, according to Breitbart News. Wow. That is crazy. more in 1 year than they did in 2 decades. Oh my gosh. According to Breitbart News, the number of killings and shootings in Chicago increased substantially in 2020, with more violence than in all but 1 year in more than 2 decades. Oh, in all but 1 year. Oh, I get what he's saying. I was thinking about it wrong. Okay. So this is the most, basically, ever killings in a year, except for 1 year. Wow. And they thought things was going to change by putting her in office. This is crazy. This is crazy. Chicago is worse off than it was when Rahm Emanuel was running things. And y'all, some of y'all old listeners know how I talked about Rahm Emanuel. Chicago also saw 4,033 shooting victims last year, compared to 2,598 recorded in the year before. Oh man, I mean the data is just so negative in Chicago right now. Following 3 years of decline in homicide numbers, 2020 concluded. 2020 concluded with 769 killings, 274 more than the previous year, and the highest since 2016. 784 homicide cases. The Times noted that the alternative response programs in Chicago are also being implemented amid continuing debate over the role of cops in the death of George Floyd under the hands of Minneapolis police forces last year. Mental health experts wouldn't have helped the George Floyd situation. Maybe I'll do a whole thing on that. Mental health experts noted that the new arrangements in Chicago could help mitigate frontline losses and casualties, since they will be present at the 911 center to monitor situations. I'm not gonna comment on that. However, it remains unclear how these new responders will successfully de-escalate violence that may occur during such calls. That's what I'm saying. It's really nothing you can do, especially in domestic disputes like that. You can't talk your way out of it. So what is a mental health therapist going to do along a domestic call with the police? This is crazy. And you just putting people in harm's way. Chicago Times reported that the new program underwrite a public health approach to responding to 911 calls in case of emergencies. Lifeless policy advisor for public safety, Alex Heaton, expressed enthusiasm in the new approach, which is expected to commence next month. I can't wait to see what happens. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be bad, I think. We're super excited, Heaton commented. This is a brand new workforce for the city, and it's an exciting opportunity to use a public health approach for people likely to come into contact with first responder system, he added. And it goes on, but I think I'm just going to end it there, because I don't really think this program is. I mean, you basically putting untrained people in really bad situations that police really need to be at, especially domestic disputes. I don't think it's a good idea, but we'll see. We'll see what the program do next month. I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to that. All right, let's see. Breaking: Wisconsin Republican Rep Rathum calls for forensic audit procedure added to scope of state audit after seeing Arizona and Georgia results. I really wish I can get into this, but again, can't even talk about the whole the thing was going on with the voter situation without YouTube deleting your stuff. U.S. attorney in Delaware kept Hunter Biden investigation secret during the 2020 campaign. What investigation? Remember they said it was no investigation? And nothing happened anyway. They have his laptop with all that stuff on it, and nothing is going to happen. Federal prosecutors kept the investigation into Hunter Biden a secret during the 2020 presidential election. And I'm going to have to go back and look at some of this stuff, because I really do think I reported on them investigating Hunter Biden. I'm going to have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure I did. And they lied. They were lying the whole time, saying they weren't investigating them. Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss purposely held off on seeking warrants and issuing a grand jury subpoena last summer in order to protect Joe Biden. This is crazy. This is the government right here. Weiss was nominated by President Trump in 2017 on the recommendation of Delaware's Democrat senators and has been kept in place by Joe Biden. They set him up, man. Everywhere Trump looked, it's a person they got in there that's going against his interests every time. The investigation into Hunter Biden focused on his foreign business dealings, his international money laundering operation, and possible tax violations. They left out a lot. they left out a lot in this article. There's a lot more than this going on with Hunter Biden. And because for sake of YouTube, I can't even talk about that either. What do they call it? I'll leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. Political reporting. If y'all want to hear some of this stuff that I can't say on YouTube, subscribe to the Patreon, and I'll put some of the stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube up there. Political reported. By late 2018, Weiss office was investigating Hunter Biden's activities in response to a number of leads, including some related to his dealings with Chinese business associates. While investigators pursue suspicions of possible money laundering and violations of Foreign Agents Registration Act, the criminal investigation eventually came to focus on whether he had paid taxes on all his income, according to a person familiar with it. Hunter Biden maintained that he acted appropriately. It's a lot in that paragraph right there. First, it said possible money laundering violations. I mean, he was definitely money laundering. Now he's money laundering in plain sight with his paintings that he's selling from $75,000 to $500,000. That's blatant money laundering in your face right there. So you know he actually taunting us and doing it in our face. So you really think they're gonna get him on that with a money laundering here? I doubt it. In violations of Foreign Agent Registration Act, we saw emails that prove that. He was working for the Ukraine, working for on behalf of the Chinese, definitely on behalf of the Chinese. I bet you he might be registered with Ukraine, but I know he definitely not registered with China. If y'all don't know what the Foreign Agent Registration Act is, it's an act where if you do anything in the United States on behalf of another country, you just have to fill out a form and basically letting them know exactly what country you are like lobbying for on whose behalf, and also I think if it's under a certain amount, you don't have to. Under a certain amount of money that you're being paid, I think you don't have to put how much money it is. But once you hit a certain amount, you have to tell them exactly how much money that this whatever government you speaking on behalf giving you. You have to report that. And I know he definitely working on behalf of China, and I know he didn't. He's definitely not registered under China. But let's see, and also focus on whether he had paid taxes. Well, his one of his baby mamas took him to court and showed that he was actually making more money than what he would making more money than what he said he was making. So definitely some tax stuff right there. But again, I'm very pessimistic. I don't think anything's gonna come of this so-called investigation, because if they would have done something by now. By last summer, the probe had reached a point at which investigators could have issued a grand jury subpoenas and sought search warrants that might have revealed its existence at a time when many of the then President Donald Trump supporters were seeking to draw attention to Hunter Biden's actions. And I might add, social media was ignoring the whole Hunter Biden email thing. All this stuff was going down. It was videos of him, pictures of him doing disgusting, despicable things, and you couldn't even talk about it on social media without being blocked or censored. It's the craziest thing. I mean, this is straight up dystopian stuff that the social media companies are pulling. Weiss, however, decided to delay taking any actions that were likely to make the existence of Hunter Biden's probe public. Concerns about affecting the presidential election loom large when Weiss entertained arguments about advancing the probe. according to the person involved in the discussion. No matter what he did, the decision was sure to come under scrutiny for signs of politicization. Recall former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr also took measures to make sure the news of Hunter Biden investigation never got leaked public. Yeah, I mean, our government. someone said on here, "Color me shocked." Yeah, no joke. No joke. Everyone, I mean, nothing's gonna happen to this. You should, if you don't know anything about what went on with Hunter Biden emails and stuff, go back and look at some of the videos that we did on it, and you can actually watch. You can find the video and pictures and stuff yourself by just doing a quick Google search too. It's disgusting. Let's see. Breaking, Wisconsin Republican rep. Oh, I read that one already. Must see, fake news hack stresses out with 74,243 ballot discrepancies announced in audit hearing. Yeah, I saw, and unfortunately, you can't even play the hearing on YouTube. You can't even play a hearing on election fraud, on an audit that's totally legal. You can't even play that on YouTube. Let's see. Arizona State Senator Kelly Townsend demands AG Brnovich investigates Arizona audit findings after county bogus response. All right. We got just the news. Biden issues warning to U.S. companies about doing business in Hong Kong. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised about that. Large majorities in new poll want tighter voting rules after 2020 election controversies. Yeah, and that's what what was I was watching some show, and they pointed out that and I talk about it plenty of times. 80% of Americans want voter IDs. They want people IDs to be checked before they vote. 80%, and 60% of black people want the same thing. So overwhelmingly majority of Americans don't mind having to show your ID to vote, and they're trying to make it a race thing when it's not. It's an election integrity thing. Large majorities of voters are in favor of tighter voting rules and restrictions in the wake of months of controversy following the 2020 election, new polling shows. I'm going to have to hold on to this so I can reference this in the future. I'll maybe write something about it. But the polling drawn from the national survey by veteran pollster Scott Rasmussen indicates, and Rasmussen is probably the only halfway decent pollster out there, I believe, anyway. Gallup dudes, decent, not great either, but Rasmussen I trust a little bit more than any other of the pollsters. But Scott Rasmussen indicates that up to 3/4 of U.S. voters are opposed to the looser voting regulations that were put in place for much of last year's presidential election. A full 70% of voters, for instance, would like a hard election day deadline for mail-in ballots, indicating broad opposition to the post-election deadlines that many jurisdictions put in place for November 3rd. Yeah, that's so 70% of the voters, they want a deadline. They don't want that stuff, stuff coming in after the election, after election. Remember in the video, that one video when everyone had left and a woman had reached down and pulled out a whole thing of other votes when polls were supposed to be closed. I mean, they don't want this stuff happening again. A whopping 76% favor requiring photo ID to vote. In another poll that I was talking about, it was 80%. So it's still, plus minus 3 or 4. White House and Democrat Party messaging has sought to paint ID requirements as Republican voter suppression. Like, how is that? I don't know anyone that doesn't have an ID for real. Like I I'm gonna reiterate. I said many times, every state has it where if you can't afford an ID, that you can get it for free. Every state has that. So it's no reason if you really want to vote, you can't go to your Department of Motor Vehicles or whatever y'all state call it, and get you an ID where you can vote. It's no excuse. So it has nothing to do with voter suppression. It's their way of framing it because they want to be able to make it where anyone can just go in and vote. They want illegals to vote. That's all it is. Rasmussen found that 65% of the voters believe government agencies should be required to report the vote totals from all ballots either on election night or the next day. In many cases in 2020, reporting totals in cities and states around the U.S. dragged out for several days after the election. Just 18% of voters are opposed to such a requirement. Like, why are you opposed to that? Why are you opposed to that? I don't get it. Nearly 60% of voters, meanwhile, want a ban on the practice of ballot harvesting, in which workers collect absentee ballots from voters and drop them off at a central location. I mean, why would anybody trust that anyway? You don't know who that person is, so-called taking your vote. You don't know if they throwing your vote away and marking someone. Like, why would you trust that anyway? The numbers represent a resounding rejection of some of the most debated and criticized aspects of the 2020 election, in which government and local municipalities drastically alter voting procedures, ostensibly as a means to avoid outbreak of SARS and COVID-2. Yeah, they use that excuse so they can steal votes. The results further reflected widespread distrust in the U.S. election system, albeit of a sort that is strongly correlated with political affiliation. Surveys by Rasmussen have showed that nearly 60% of voters have confidence in the U.S. election results. Currently, 87% of Democrats express confidence in the system. Oh, man. And Rasmussen noted that 63% of Republicans did not. The partisan divide is fairly typical. The party which controls the White House is more likely to consider the process fair, Rasmussen noted. I mean, that's pretty obvious. The percentage of the Americans who are willing to accept election results across party lines is relatively small. Barely 1/4 of voters view both Donald Trump and Joe Biden as legitimate winners of the 2016 and 2020 elections, respectively. In March of this year, a majority of Democrats believe Hillary Clinton won in 2016, while a slightly larger majority of Republicans believe Trump won in 2020. A slightly larger. So, I mean, so they call in. Where was all this when the people were saying that Trump stole the election from Hillary Clinton? Where was all the censorship from YouTube? Where was all the censorship from Twitter? Where was all the censorship from Facebook when they were running around for 4 years saying that Trump was an illegitimate president and Hillary Clinton really won? Where was the censorship then? It's one-sided. All right, let's see. Still on just the news. Let's see. CDC defends decision to require masks on mass transit despite GOP backlash. House GOP members announced creation of Freedom from Big Tech caucus. Let's see if they can get anything done. I doubt it. White House acknowledges working with Facebook to flag problematic COVID-related posts. That's straight up fascism. It's straight up fascism. I can't remember if we actually went over this. I think we did go over this yesterday. Jen Psaki admitted to be admitted to working with social media and telling them what to censor. I mean, this is just... So the government really is curtailing free speech by way of social media. The Biden administration is acknowledging working with social media platforms on what is considered problematic. What problematic posts related to COVID-19. Wow. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Thursday acknowledged the effort. Quote, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We are flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. They are flagging. So the government is telling Facebook what to take off the platform. Psaki also said administration officials are in regular touch, so whatever that means, it's probably every day, several times a day, with the platforms, and such interactions are typically handled by senior staff and members of the administration's COVID-19 team. Now, Democrats, how would y'all feel if Trump was in office and they told you that Trump was coordinating with Facebook to help stop disinformation? How would y'all react? Exactly. Y'all would be up in an uproar. But if that is your side doing it, it's okay. This is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic, she said, after Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy made similar remarks. Psaki also suggested Facebook must move faster to remove such posts and those that violate companies' guidelines, while Murthy said platforms should purge pandemic-related misinformation, much of which is reportedly being spread by a surprising few accounts. Quote, we're asking social media companies to consistently take action against misinformation super spreaders on the platform. Misinformation super spreaders. That's what they call people with differences of opinions. So if you got a difference of opinion on COVID-19, even if you're a doctor, even if you're a scientist, you're a super spreader of misinformation. So that's exactly why they censored and blacklist stuff like when I originally said in February of 2020 that it was created in a lab. That's exactly what they did when I said that, and stuff like that is going to be considered misinformation. Murthy has issued a Surgeon General advisory on misinformation. What does that even mean? A Surgeon General's advisory, which he says leads to people resisting mask wearing and turning down vaccines and other proven treatments. First of all, it's not proven. And I'm not even going to get into that. It's proven treatments. Okay. The advisory calls health misinformation an urgent public health crisis. I can't believe he said proven treatments. It's not proven. Show me the research where it's proven at. The FDA has not proved anything. Proven. That angers me. Alright, let's check over the Zero Hedge. Federal judge rules DACA is illegal. We went over that. The Green hijacked Biden's $3.5 trillion budget proposal. That could be a blessing. Let's see. Who are the Greens? They talking about environmentalists. Yep. Let's see. The Greens hijacked Biden's $3.5 trillion budget proposal. That could be a blessing. Senator Tina Smith said breaking clean electricity standards is included in the budget deal. CES is the cornerstone of the progressive, practical transformation to clean energy future we urgently need. Deal means argument among radicals. The Green hijacked Biden's already strained budget. And it says, please consider reconciliation package to include clean electricity standard. In an interview with The Hill prior to the tweet, Smith, who is crafting the clean electricity standard legislation with Senator Ben Ray, Lujan, said she had expected the standard to be part of the legislation. The senator also told the Hill that while the details on the standard will have to be worked out in negotiations, she's hoping to see a requirement for 80% clean electricity by 2020. What does that even mean? What is clean electricity? Quote, my goal is to get to 100% clean electricity as soon as possible. I need them to define that. What exactly is clean electricity? What does that mean? President Biden's goal is to be doing it by 2035. She said, referencing the Senate rules that allow reconciliation bills to raise the deficit for more than 10 years. White House climate advisor Gina McCarthy has said that the clean electricity standard is among her priorities for the legislation. I'm going to have to look at, I don't even know what this clean electricity, what does that even mean? I'm going to have to do some more research and go in depth into this before I can make any articulate commentating on it. I'm going to have to do my research. Like always, I'll never just jump the gun on stuff. I like to know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to have to do some more research on that. Let's see. Insult to injury. Russia declares U.S. has utterly failed after 20 years in Afghanistan. Yeah. California postponed new social justice math framework. Let's see what this is about. It must be that 2 + 2 = 5 crap they were trying to pass. It's crazy. I bet you that's what this is. Let's see. The California Board of Education voted unanimously to postpone a new mathematics framework that incorporate ethic and social justice studies after critics urged it would demathematize math. These people are nuts to even try to push this stuff. But you can't really put nothing past them. These people are crackpots that's running our governments all over the country. They're running our states. They're in our education. These people are freaking nuts. The board postponed the mathematics curriculum framework, a document guiding how teachers should implement the state's math standards, during its July 13 meeting, following a letter signed by 468 higher educators and business leaders in the field of science, mathematics, engineering, and technology. Quote, California is on the verge of politicizing K-12 math in potentially disastrous way. Independent Institute senior fellow Williamson M. Evers said in a July 13th statement. This postponement means the State Board of Education has heard the message loud and clear. STEM leaders don't want California students left behind by introducing politics into the math curriculum. I'm glad somebody actually stood up to that crap. Because I remember that is the thing. They was like, well, maybe 2 + 2 could equal 5. These people are crazy. Evers criticized the proposed mathematics curriculum framework for including into the curriculum aspects of social justice and racial equality. Quote, a real champion of equality and justice will want all California children to learn actual math as in arithmetic, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and calculus, not an endless river of new pedagogical fads and effectively distort and displace actual math, he said. Amen. Good for y'all standing up for the kids. About time someone standing up. Because, these people are crazy. These people are nuts. These are the same people that think it's okay for a grown man to be in a spa saying that he's a woman with a beard and a penis with a 6-year-old little girl in there. They think that's okay. These are the same people that run these states. It's sick. And then they're trying to ruin math. Math is already, most people already hate math. So why would y'all add this crap to it? It's just, it makes absolutely no sense. These people are crackpots. Evers pointed out that the standards may distract from actual mathematics by tasking students to solve problems that result in social inequalities and developing their social political consciousness. The framework encourages and focus on contributions that historically marginalized people have made to mathematics, rather than those contributions themselves, which have been essential to the academic discipline of mathematics ever since, citing the framework. One of the signees, one of the signees of the open letter said, "I consider myself a social justice warrior. Limited access to advanced mathematics is not the way to address social equality." Yeah. Quote, "We believe infusing mathematics with political rhetoric is alien to mathematics as a discipline and will do lasting damage, including making math dramatically harder for students whose first language is not English." Yeah, and that's an aspect I didn't even think of. That's true. I'm glad people actually stood up to this craziness that's going on. I mean, California is just lost. Sorry. It's the truth. Because when that 6-year-old little girl was in the spa, it was in California. Let's see. 73-year-old Vietnam vet dead after being beaten in broad daylight during attempt carjacking in Chicago. And they're gonna send mental health professionals to things like that in Chicago for real. That's what y'all gonna do? I hope y'all pay them a lot and give them hazard pay. So no way in hell I would do it. Federal prosecutor Paul's Hunter Biden investigation. We talked about that. NYPD released a shocking video of daytime execution style killing of man riding city bike. Oh wow. Illinoisans would pay 40% less property tax if the state spent at levels where students perform better. Florida. Wow. Interesting. Let's see. Governor Christie Noem blasts other. Oh, sorry, this is Daily Caller. Governor Christie Noem blasts other Republicans for lockdowns, but she didn't entirely oppose them either. She must be running for something. She must be rerunning or something. Exclusive. Getting Biden to condemn communism is like extracting teeth, Cuban immigrant says. Inside the re-education programs, one lawyer is teaching to Capitol rioters. Wow. Friday Evening Dispatch. Things aren't looking good for Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, let's check this out. He was celebrated for a second, wasn't he? Alright, let's see. It's not an article? What is this? Oh, you gotta be subscribed for this one. Oh, well. Alright, let's see something else. The Hill. Did I check out The Hill? Federal judge blocks new application to DACA. Biden social media platforms killing people. What? I'm not even going to entertain that. Trump says Milley should be court-martialed if he said what was reported. Trump says Barr never told him he thought he'd lose the election. Psaki criticizes loaded and inaccurate question from Fox's Ducey. Donald Trump Jr. mocks Joyce Beatty after arrest at voting rights protest. We talked about that yesterday. McConnell calls for withdrawal of Biden public lands nominee. Let's see what's going on in the Daily Mail. I haven't checked the Daily Mail for a while because the last few weeks the Daily Mail just hadn't really been hitting on much. They've been super duper more leftist than normal. I need them to get back a little bit to the right. But Biden is planning to nominate campaign donor Jane Hartley, 71, as ambassador to UK. Murder investigation suspect is caught after she commented on a police most wanted Facebook post. What? Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check this one out. What an idiot. You know, Daily Mail be having these long articles. This one don't seem to be that long. But we'll hit the bullet point. Look at she's crazy, yo. Look at her smiling. Wow, this is sad. Let's see what it says. Lauren Graves, 24, was arrested Thursday after competing on Tulsa Police Department's most wanted Facebook post about her. She was charged with accessory to murder in the March homicide of Eric Graves. Tulsa police didn't say what Lorraine is accused of doing or say if she was related to the victim. The alleged shooter, Gabriel and Jaden, that's Hobbs, their brothers, were already in custody in their criminal case. So she was what? She dry snitched or something? Here it is. What were the reward money? And great girl, you better stay on social media. They can track you. Oh, so what? So she is crazy. So I'm sorry, y'all. I should have read this out loud. It said weekly most wanted arrested after commenting on our post about her. On Wednesday, we posted Lorraine Graves as the weekly most wanted for accessory to murder in the homicide of Eric Graves earlier this year. So shortly after that, Lorraine Graves started commenting on our post asking about reward money. Sorry, y'all. I just zoned out for a second. I was reading it. And so here it go right here. She says, uh, where's the reward money at?" Why would you say that? Why would you post that and you want it? And then Jane Doe, whoever that is, says, Lorraine said, "Girl, why you?" Said, "Girl, you better stay off social media. They can track you." And then it says, "Ain't gonna be funny ain't gonna be funny when you get processed," and that's true. So they got her. They tracked her phone. What an idiot. She don't look that bright anyway. That's just crazy. If you want it, why would you comment on that most wanted? I think she wanted to get caught or something. Because nobody, you can't be that dumb. You can't be that dumb. I will hope. All right, let's see. See if Daily Mail got anything else. Sharon Stone, Stella Maxwell, Holfick Galan at 27th AMFR Gala. I don't care about that stuff. Britney Spears. All right, so let's see. Let's check out the Washington Examiner. Biden will continue pressing the flesh despite new coronavirus variants. I don't know what that means. Border authorities encountered 190,000 people illegally crossing the border in June, highest in 21 years. And they're going to keep on coming. Biden is doing absolutely nothing about it. White House wants Facebook to censor posts claiming COVID vaccines cause infertility. Wow. I know that to not be true. I know someone that had COVID and got pregnant, so I know that to be false. But, I believe in free speech. If people want to put stuff like that out there, who cares for real? The Biden administration approached Facebook and other social media companies about taking down posts that claim coronavirus they said the vaccine. I'm sorry. I thought they were talking about actual coronavirus. So they said I misread that. They said the vaccine causes infertility. I got no proof of that either, though. I got no. I haven't even looked into that, so I can't say either way. But quote, it shouldn't come as any surprise that we're in regular touch with. So we went over that. So this is some of the stuff that they're censoring. This actually what this is all this article is saying. So they want to censor stuff like that. But I mean, what I mean, it's people free speech. If they want to post stuff, their opinions, who cares for real? Let people do their own research. Yes, there's dumb people out there that's gonna believe everything they see online. But the majority of people is not gonna believe stuff like that. They're gonna go find out for themselves and let people decide what's truth and what's fact. Not the government. It's not the government job. It's not Facebook job. It's not none of their jobs to tell us what is truth and what is false. It's for us to decide as an individual. Let's see. Um, Pop star reads glowing tweet to Fauci in latest White House vaccine awareness video. I mean, and Juvenile and Manny Fresh with that corny freaking vax that ass up or vax that thing up. I mean, it was just retarded. They were getting clowned on social media for that ignorant stuff, and rightfully so. Road race. Democrats force vote on fragile bipartisan infrastructure deal, leaving Trump behind. How Biden Cuba handling weighs on battleground Florida. Lindsey Graham declares big win after Notre Dame says it will open Chick-fil-A. Wow. Lindsey Graham can't do nothing else, but he can make sure Notre Dame get their Chick-fil-A. Not open on Sunday. I love that Kanye song. Gianforte, Chambers promote Montana to former residents out of state business. State senators to reform South Carolina earmark spending follow law. Alright, let's see Daily Caller. Cuban artist slams BLM. All Black Lives Matter except Cuban Black Lives. Your black card is revoked. Naomi Osaki talks choosing Japan over America in Olympics. I mean, I'm not even gonna click on that. You can't revoke somebody's black card. What kind of crap is that? The regime has been fatally wounded. Cuban artists refuse to make government propaganda. Democrat mayor whose police command force quit hit with gun charge, child endangerment. Oh, wow. Wow. In battle, Democrat Mayor Lovely Warren was hit with numerous criminal charges on Friday related to firearms and child endangerment. A grand jury indicated Warren and husband Timothy Grandison followed a cocaine bus at the couple's residence in Maine. Oh yeah, I remember that. When they arrested her husband and stuff. Both are charged with criminal possession of a firearm, a felony, and 2 counts, each of endangering the welfare of a child and failure to lock secure firearms in a dwelling. Both misdemeanors, according to a statement from the Monroe County District Attorney Office. The Democrat and Chronicle reported Friday. A handgun and semi-automatic rifle were found inside the couple's home, where their 10-year-old child lives. And how much you want to bet? I bet you she's such of a hypocrite that she's probably anti-gun. That would be hilarious. I bet you. Because these people, they're like that. That's how hypocritical they are. The DNC noted that Warren had previously said she did not know about her husband's activities nor the guns and did nothing wrong. Like how your husband sell drugs and you not know it? That's a damn lie. There's no way you not know that. Back in May, the mayor's home was raided in connection to a major 7-month-long drug investigation. Granderson was arrested and hit with 2 drug charges and 1 gun charge. The Daily Mail reported on takeaways from the press conference announcing the shocking news. I can't remember, did I report on this or not? I cannot remember. His story sounds very familiar. I might have reported on it. I can't remember. Granderson's arrest was part of a 7-month-long investigation. He was not the initial target. There were numerous warrants executed on Wednesday night. In addition to Granderson Warren home, 7 locations were hit between Wednesday night and Thursday morning, and more arrests are expected. At the time of the arrest, only the couple's daughter was home, prompted questions from reporters concerning potential child endangerment charges in relation to the gun charge. Dorley refused to comment, but noted more charges are coming. There have already been 2 kilos of crack cocaine confiscated from the bus. So how do they have 2 kilos of crack and she not know? She knew that. She knew what was going on. Which equates to a street value of more than $60,000. 3 firearms have been confiscated and more than $100,000 in cash was recovered. Wow. That is crazy. Dorley would not confirm nor deny Mayor Warren's potential involvement in the investigation, including wiretapping. Last month, the embattled Democrat took a shellacking at the polls, losing to a primary challenger, fellow Democrat Malik Evans. Warren, who was first elected in 2013, said at the time she would not be running on another party line, essentially assuring City Council Evans to become mayor of Rochester. Warren sparked national headlines last year for her handling of Daniel Prude case. In September, the entire Rochester Police Department command staff, including then Police Chief Laurent Singletary, resigned over the handling of the case and Warren's action. I remember that. And they just get into what happened with that resignation and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back and research her and see if she said anything about being. And she's a Democrat, so she could be anti-gun, and she got all them drugs and all them guns on her. I bet dollars to donuts. All right, let's see. What was that? That was the Daily Wire. Yeah. Let's see. Texas House Speaker strips Democrat of leadership posts. Team USA basketball loses Bradley Beal, Kevin Love ahead of Tokyo Olympics. Oh no! I think Kevin Love is for real like the only big man we had. We got like a small team for real. And he's really not that big. I think he's what, 6'10", 6'11", maybe? Let's see. Jail Canadian pastor hunted by police copter talks church arsons, recounts ministering to inmates. I mean, what they doing to this dude, and he still pushing on, is amazing. I mean, he can't even have church. It's crazy out there. Get it together, Canada. All right, let's see. The Federalists, Democrats want to push backdoor immigration overhaul and call it the budget. Facebook's top censorship board is filled with elite, power-loving bureaucrats. Of course. Federal prosecutor deliberately delayed Hunter Biden probe. We went over that. Georgia's Secretary of State explains why he's just now discovering more than 10,000 illegal votes cast in 2020. So all of a sudden, I really want to go into that article, but y'all know censorship and all. But after all that, they happen to find 10,000 illegal votes cast. He's probably just trying to cover his ass. Terry McCullough fundraised for Virginia Democrat who was jailed after sex scandal with minor. Wow. Let's see what's going on with this one. Virginia Democrat gubernatorial candidate Terry McCullough fundraise for a state lawmaker who served time in jail after a scandal involving sex with a minor. These people are sick. In 2019, the former governor, who is seeking re-election, appeared at a campaign event for Democrat and then candidate for Virginia State Senate Joe Morrissey. While serving as a state delegate in 2014, Morrissey was sentenced to jail under the plea of contributing to the delinquency of a minor after he was accused of having sexual relations with his then 17-year-old part-time receptionist. He subsequently resigned but ran a successful campaign for state senate a few years later. Wow. This is crazy. His receptionist that was 17. Let's see. He said, "I'm here for Joe. This is an important race for us," McCullough said during Morrissey's Senate campaign. "This is an important year for the Democrats. This will be, folks, the first time in 26 years that we will be able to control the House, the Senate, and the governor's mansion. What I love about Joe is he's willing to fight for you," he added. Morrissey won election in 2019 and continues to represent Virginia's 16th district in the state senate. McCullough endorsed Morrissey in 2019, directly contradicts the position he held with the scandal unfolding a few years earlier. At the time Morrissey convention, McCullough spokesman Brian Coy said in an email that in the light of the conviction of these disturbing charges, the governor believes Delegate Morrissey should resign immediately. Yeah, all they got to do is give it time, and people will forget about it. That's why he's in government to this day, because if the news don't report on it, they won't know, because they're not gonna go and read this stuff and know this stuff for themselves. So all they got to do is wait a few years. They know the media. If you got a D next to your name, the media will never bring it up again. No one will ever know or remember, and then you'll be elected. These people are sick. All right, let's do a couple more. Let's see. Let's do PJ Media. Breaking federal judge rules DACA illegal. We talked about that. Psaki desperately tries spinning the comments about administration flagging COVID misinformation for Facebook. Of course, because they basically admitting the legal stuff that they doing. It's like these people, they don't even know the law. So that's why they dry snitch on themselves. They sitting there snitching on themselves, not even knowing what they doing is illegal. Because these people that are ignorant. These people are ignorant. How do they not know that's illegal? Matter of fact, let me check this article out. Let me see how she tried to spin this. How do you spin this? The article says the first law of holes reads, quote, "If you find yourself in a hole, stop digging." An ally might want to remind White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki of this as she desperately tries to spin her disclosure on Thursday that the administration is flagging COVID-19 misinformation for Facebook. She told members of the press corps, quote, "Those engagements with social media companies typically happen through members of our senior staff, but also members of our COVID-19 team. Given that, as Dr. Murthy conveyed, this is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken or are working to take, I should say, from the federal government. We've increased disinformation research and tracking in the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spreads disinformation." And we went over that already. So, but how is she spinning it though? Before the press conference, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy declared health misinformation a threat to the public health. In the 22-page advisory, Dr. Murthy signed this statement on the first page. "I am urging all Americans to help slow the spread of health misinformation during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Health misinformation is a serious threat to public health. It can cause confusion, sow mistrust, harm people's health, and undermine public health efforts. Limiting the spread of health misinformation is a moral and civic imperative that will require a whole of society effort. Page 12 outlines the what technology platforms can do, and some of these actions might become problematic in the lawsuits asserting that big tech censorship is violating America's First Amendment rights. One, assess the benefits and harms of products and platforms that take responsibility for addressing harms. Two, give research access to useful data to properly analyze the spread and impact of misinformation. Three, strengthen the monitoring of misinformation. Four, prioritize early detection of misinformation, super spreaders, and repeat offenders. Five, evaluate the effectiveness of internal policies and practices in addressing misinformation and be transparent with findings. Six, socially address information deficits. Seven, amplify communications from trusted messengers and subject matter experts. So they want to delist people like me and put people like CNN that's known liars, MSNBC that's known liars. They want them to be pushed to the forefront. Prioritize protecting health professionals, journalists, and others from online harassment, including harassment resulting in people's believing in misinformation. This is crazy. This is nuts. Under each item, the advisory is asking tech companies to do particular things. This action comes on the heels of news that Biden allies are pushing cell phone companies to prevent text messages they don't like. The drumbeat from the White House also follows over a year of censorship related to COVID-19. Any journalist, researcher, or clinician who dissents from the government health bureaucracy's preferred talking points is relegated to only a very few media outlets and social media platforms to express their viewpoint. You cannot dissent. If anyone step away from the party line, you will be censored. And I never thought this would happen in America. Never believed it. In my dystopian nightmares, I would have never believed that. Cool beans. You said, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the censorship that's going on under the Psaki desperately tries spinning comments about administration flagging COVID misinformation from Facebook, talking about how they're if anyone's not sticking with the party line, if anyone is not if anyone veers to the left or to the right, too far to the right of what the party line is, then you'll get censored on Facebook, especially pertaining to COVID-19. That's what I'm talking about. Cool beans. Good to see you. But yeah, it's a mess. Let's see. In response to questions, Psaki said it should not surprise anyone that the administration is in touch with big tech. Well, yeah, but it's illegal. It's illegal for government to tell big tech how to censor people. They doing it again is against the First Amendment, free speech. And the only way the government can get is by doing that is by getting the social media giants to do it for them. Cool Beans said, "Don't say Psaki. I feel sick now." I know, right? She's the worst. I thought she was supposed to be leaving anyway. When is she gonna leave? Just go. Just go. For those intrigued by Justice Clarence Thomas musing about social media platforms being akin to modern common carriers, Psaki rambling is a gift. The entire spectacle of the last 2 days, rolling out of the force government over scientific inquiry and debate. Rolling out the force of government over scientific inquiry and debate is destined to backfire in more ways than just the potential legal fallout. Well, I'm looking at the potential legal fallout because this is straight illegal for the government to tell these social media companies what to censor and what not to censor. That's straight up fascism. Corporate. When government is telling telling these companies how to police us is illegal. Let's see. The administration bases the calls for censorship and dissenting points of views on the belief that it will reduce vaccine hesitancy. According to the CDC data, Black Americans have the lowest vaccination rates. There are historical reasons for this related to government programs where participants could not give informed consent. They're talking about the Tuskegee experiment when Joe Biden said the Tuskegee Airmen. Oh man, our president with dementia. I mean, we have to laugh at that stuff, right? All right, but I think that's all the time I got today. Let me see what Cool Beans got to say real quick before I call it. Who pressured big tech into censorship? It's against the First Amendment, like you said. More importantly, how does the government pressure big tech? Well, threaten them with regulation. That's how they pressure them. Biden probably was like, hey, look, y'all, if y'all censor what we tell y'all to censor, or I'll let the Republicans hit y'all with these regulations. That's a way how he can pressure them. These companies don't want to be regulated, especially places like Facebook. But yeah, that's all I got today. Cool Beans, I wish you could have got on a little earlier. We could have wrapped a little bit. But check out the replay of this, and like, share, and subscribe. Share this out, and don't forget to check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.